The Dark Between Stars by Atticus. Basic, pandering, faux inspirational words. Not good. Okay, so The Dark Between Stars is the second and I guess middle poetry collection, if we want to be incredibly generous with the word poetry. Poetry collection, that's me being super elitist, but I'm going to get into why. By Atticus. Atticus is an anonymous Canadian poet, very lively on their Instagram. I believe it's just Atticus Poetry. And yeah, there was a collection before this, there's a collection after this. This was published in 2018. The one before this was Love Her Wild, which was in 2017, and then the newest one, which I forget the name of and doesn't matter, was published in 2019. So, we got one collection a year, and I'm going to read the back to you. This is going to be a pretty quick review, but I'm going to read the back. In his second collection of poems, Atticus turns his attention to the dualities of our lived experiences, the inescapable connections between our highest highs and lowest lows. He captures the infectious energy of starting a relationship, the tumultuous realities of commitment, and the agonizing nostalgia of being alone again. While grappling with the question of how to live with purpose and find meaning in the journey, these poems offer both honest explorations of loneliness and our search for connection, as well as lighthearted, humorous observations. As Atticus writes poignantly about dancing, Paris, jazz clubs, sunsets, sharing a bottle of wine on the river, rainy days, creating and destroying, he illuminates that we need moments of both beauty and pain, the darkness and the stars, to fully appreciate all that life and love have to offer. And you know how he expresses these things? With words such as these. A soulmate would be great, but at some point, I'd settle for someone who gets back to my text messages. This blurb is more poetry than those 3 lines. Rough stuff. How did I come upon purchasing this book for myself, especially brand new, which I wish I could get that, $25 to $30 back. But it's because of an account called Word Porn that I follow still. It used to be filled with amazing, beautiful, artistic quotes and poetry, and has since turned into more of what I called this book, which is basic, pandering, faux inspirational quotes that don't have a lot of depth and are pretty shallow. And every once in a while, there's still a gem in there, but they had one of Atticus's pieces there, and I liked it. It was one of the very, very few, as I were to find out after purchasing this book, that I do like. So let me reiterate, I would not suggest anyone purchase this book or any other by Atticus. That type of investment is just too far. I'm going to read you some more passages, some that I actually do like, but the majority of this book, I would say 95 or more % of it, I'm not a fan of. And it's basic stuff like that, where I don't know how to define poetry, because poetry is different than just writing. I believe it has a category of its own, but trying to define it is incredibly difficult. It's kind of like, for me, the difference between just writing and graffiti is that graffiti is writing with style intentionally, like intentionally creating letters with style. And poetry is not just writing down, a soulmate would be great, but at some point I'd settle for someone who gets back to text messages. That's a thought, that's an idea, that's a tweet. That's what that is. I don't like it as poetry, and the majority of poems are similar. The other thing is that once I I saw this in the store, and I don't buy books brand new very often, but I saw it there. I don't know if I had a gift card or what, but I was like, oh, wow. Like, one, it's beautiful. The cover is beautiful. The inside is a mix of, like, typed text. That's a bookmark for some stuff we're going to read. Some, font that's to emulate some handwriting, some cursive. We've got black and white photographs, beautiful photographs. Sometimes the text is on the photograph. This is a beautiful book. It is put together well. The spacing and just like the structure of things is put together well. But the quality of the words should be the most important thing. And it's not. Everything else about this book surpasses the quality of the words. Let's read some more, shall we? If we were caught in a snowstorm in a tent on the side of a mountain and things were looking grim, she was the kind of girl who would smile, bundle close to me, and say something like, "Let's sing a Christmas song." That's the kind of girl she is. That last line was mine. When I talk about this being pandering, Atticus knows his audience, and his audience is, Starbucks drinking, UGG wearing, sippy cup with the word wine on it, having, live, love, laugh, enjoying, for the most part, women. So that's his audience. He knows his audience very well, and he panders to them and plays to them a lot with things like this. Because I believe that one thing he is incredibly good at, it's not the quality of his words, it is his words being very well put together for an audience that will buy them. And either Atticus really is 100% genuine in his expressions, or he just knows the game very well, and this is purely a financial pursuit. I don't want to be a judge of character of the person. I just know that these words that are here and in the other collections are those things to me. Pandering and basic and shallow for the most part. Every once in a while there's a gem, but it's incredibly rare. Let's read some more. Every moment spent with her, I became a little more sure anything is possible. And that's going to take up a whole page, right? Which I don't have a problem with that if the quality of the words demanded or deserved a whole page. But this is a tweet. This is a thought. This is a love note on a piece of paper that you give to your partner just to remind them that you love them. Except in that context, directed directly at them. Speaking about quality of words, oops. That would come off a lot better than this, third-hand stuff. She was just my kind of crazy, right? In the cursive, of course. And then, what do we got here? This beautiful photo of some person just, I don't know, being crazy, I guess. I don't know. She was just my kind of crazy. What else do we got here? Yeah, that's some stuff there. I will give you a couple that I actually enjoyed. To the poet, every curve of her was a well-placed word. That was, I believe, the line, if not that line, then it was this other one that I saw, and I was like, I really like that, actually, and then started following him. A muse is a love affair between art and souls. It was either that short poem, that short piece, or it was that line, to the poet, every curve of her was a well-placed word, that did evoke this feeling in me of this romantic idea between, romantic relationships, romanticizing certain types of relationships, and art and creativity and being an artist and those types of things. And on the strength of what this book looked like, and those very few and far between words that spoke to me, I bought this collection. And it's not for me. It's just not for me. So I could say the quality of the words is poor, but again, it's because I believe poetry to be something that I can't necessarily define. But I don't believe it's tweets. I don't believe that it's basic tweets. I believe that poetry has to have depth, and these are incredibly shallow words for the most part, and we're filled with them, right? We're filled. We have, what do we have here? 222 pages. You are enough, 1,000 times enough. Like, this is what would go on a faux inspirational poster. You know what I mean? This is stuff these are buzzwords. These are things that comfort the weak. There's not enough depth and context and nuance and complexity to speak to someone who has nuance, depth, and complexity. Which is why I say this is for the basic. This is for the shallow. This is a beautiful book in its aesthetics, in every way, but the quality of the words doesn't reach someone genuinely, consistently, who is seeking more. I would say that 95% plus is not worth reading the few seconds it would take to read.